Alright guys, today we're going to fix this boy's paddock area. He loves to pee in one spot and one spot only, and it is creating a stink. So we're going to dig out the area and put in a transpiration drain. And that's a sort of a cross between a septic trench and a spoon drain, or a French drain, with some gravel in it and obviously the transpiration pipe in the bottom. This is our area here behind me. So we put a couple of stall mats in to stop him weeing right on the door sill, and now he just wees here in this spot here. And we've got a little bit of runoff, but it just festers there. So we're going to dig the whole spot out and fix him up. So in a previous video, we've done around that back corner of the barn. It runs around the other side of the barn through here and down to the round yard. So now we're going to dig up this whole area here and run another trench parallel with the old trench out to there as well. But like I said, it's a transpiration drain, so most of this moisture and most actually of the rainfall that falls on it will actually infiltrate in through the ground, and we probably won't see any overflow at all out that pipe. The other thing I'm going to do is, we don't have any water down at the round yard, so I'm going to continue a drain from, a trench from that faucet over there across the front of the barn. It'll then go into this trench as well and go out to the round yard, and we'll have a faucet out there. If you haven't got one of these stall mat tools, you probably need to get yourself one. They make this job a lot easier. All of the gear I've used in this, I'll put either links or a description in the description below, so you can quantify this all out and work out how much a job should cost. The area I'm doing here is about 10 foot wide, and it's at about 16 feet at its longest length. Alright, so today we finished digging the holes. I didn't film the trench that I dug yesterday because it's kind of boring, but to give you guys an idea of quantities, so you can try and schedule this job for yourselves or keep a tradesman in check. It took a day of me operating the machine. I think I put about 7 or 8 hours on the machine digging out this hole. And yes, that's a long time, but I've got a little tiny tractor in the background there. She's only a 15 horsepower. Yes, I'd love to have a bigger machine, but a bigger machine would have trouble fitting in this tiny space. So it's the perfect size tractor for me and my purposes. So yes, about a day on the tractor, and then a day yesterday digging that trench. It's about 60 feet long, and it's it's about 12 to 16 inches deep, which is plenty of depth for my purposes. That took a whole day yesterday, pretty much, including tidying up the edges of the cut with a shovel. So we're on day 3, and I'm about to start dropping down the products to retain all of this mess that we're trying to clean up. What products we've got? So I'm using this second-hand pipe that I got from a mate, and I don't know what it's called, but it's a very heavy schedule PVC pipe. I think it's 3-inch. It's perforated, very small perforations. Well, I'd like to see slightly bigger perforations, but it was free, so let's give it a whirl. I think it's probably used for transpiration trenches, but I'm from Australia, and I don't think I've ever seen a product like this before. It might be something new. I've been out of the sewage industry for probably 10 years now, so anyway, chuck in the description what it is if you would like to share the information and you know what it is. I've also got a piece of ABS in the same diameter, and that's going to be used where it pops out of the ground at the other end, because black pipe coming out of the ground's nicer than white pipe. Obviously got all of the appropriate glues and a saw to cut it, and a deburring tool to clean up the inside of the pipe after I've cut it, so that it doesn't create little weirs in the pipe for silt to build up. Next, I have some 3/4 inch pecks for the yard faucet, which is that big fella there. That's so it doesn't freeze up, because there's a water pipe going from that faucet there. I'll have to dig another bit of trench, obviously, and down there and over next to the round yard, so we can keep the round yard watered and the trees around it. Next of all, we've got this non-woven, I think it's 8-ounce 8-ounce weed mat. It is there to obviously try and retain a bit of the silt away from the treatment zone that we're going to put in. I wish I had bought more. This is a 100-foot roll, and it folds out to 6 feet wide. Probably could have done with an extra 50 feet, but we will have to make it work. Next of all is a relatively new product. Most of you that have watched my other videos will have noticed that I used Lighthoof, which is a targeted horse mud prep area device, and it is fantastic, but it is also extremely expensive. I can't remember how much I used in the other area, but it came out to about $650 worth, which is you know, another big cost on top of the area. So Viva have released a product that is somewhat similar. It's again, it's black poly. It's not made from recyclable material like the other one was, which, you know, kudos for that, but I'm not paying the extra money for something that's been recycled. I know a lot of comments will come my way saying that's really bad, but this stuff is like 40 bucks a sheet, and I'm going to do this whole area for, you know, under $150. So I'm definitely a fan of this Viva product. All of these products I will put in my description. They all came from Amazon. Yes, they take a couple of days to deliver, but so does everything else, because I live on an island. The next thing I've got is some of these 12-inch stakes. Now, I don't leave these in the ground. I mean, you possibly could leave them in the ground, but I just see that as something nasty a horse could get in their hoof later on. So this is purely just to hold this stuff in place while I pour the first layer of gravel on it. Once the gravel's on it, it's never going to move again, so you just pull the stakes out before you do the top dressing. So that's where we're at. We're going to chuck all that stuff in the ground today. I will do a time-lapse video of it, so hang around and check out what it looks like when it's done. Alright, now I've laid the pecks in the bottom of the trench all the way through up until the end, over the top of our weed mat, which will encapsulate everything. Now that is way too far down for our pipe. I have dug a 4-inch wide trench because I'm a bit of a lazy bugger, and I didn't feel like digging it wider by hand because it would have been a little detrimental to my health. So ideally, this trench, for a transpiration trench, you probably want it at least 8 inches wide, maybe even 10, and full of gravel encapsulated by the weed mat. But I don't have that luxury, so I've got this narrow trench. What that means is that the pipe, if it goes all the way into the bottom, the pipe's only going to be able to take on water from the very top of the pipe, because the rest is going to be sealed off by the weed mat itself and the pressure of the normal dirt around the weed mat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to backfill this with gravel almost to the top. So we're going to have probably 3 or 4 inch deep trench to lay the pipe in. I know that's why I'm using this heavier schedule pipe instead of a normal ag perforated pipe, because an ag perforated pipe at that depth will get punctured by the horse's hooves. So this is where we're at. We're going to now come back in with the tractor, lay a bit of gravel in over the top of the whole thing, which will hold the weed mat down. It'll make sure that the water pipe's fully installed, and then we'll come back in after we've done that and put the drainage pipe in over the top. Alright guys, that's what 30 cubic yards of gravel looks like. It's 5/8 crush minus, which means it's got a maximum stone size of about 5/8 of an inch, and it goes all the way down to fine crushed. This is basalt product. Some places call it bluestone, and it's the same stuff as you use on the driveway all over the place. And a lot of people don't like it for horses' hooves, but I like it for the same reason people don't like it for horses' hooves, and that is pea gravel has a tendency to bruise a hoof and stay in there wedged for a long time, whereas a sharper stone, if it is creating sensitivity for the horse will present lame and actually have a shorter term injury than a deep bruise. It also compacts better, it stays in its place better, and it means that everything works. There is about 5 yards of dirt that came out. I've taken about 15 yards up the back and disposed of it already. That means that I've taken 20 yards out and I'm putting 30 yards in. So the rule of thumb here is that I'm going to raise the natural ground height a little bit and create a little bit more runoff on the top surface as well, which is just going to make everything drain that much better. Alright, so as you can see, it lays down pretty easily. It's a little time consuming. You've got to join it together. If you're running parallel panels, I use zip ties. The Viva product comes with these funny little buttons that you button it together, but I can just imagine them coming up through the paddock over the years, so I use zip ties. I just thought while we were here and I've got it all laid down, I should quickly show you the Viva product in comparison to the Lighthoof product, because I've got a piece of old Lighthoof here to show you. Right. So initially you'll notice that I have 3-inch Lighthoof and 2-inch of the Viva product. You can buy 3-inch. I just went with the 2-inch because I thought it'd be easier to manage, and I think it is. So it's essentially made out of a very similar product. Lighthoof say that this is a recycled plastic bottle product. I'm not sure whether that's verified or not, but it's probably the Lighthoof is sort of, as you can see, it's got a texture to it. It's welded in exactly the same manner, so they use a hot weld across the webbing. As you can see with the Viva product, it's also a hot weld. That's a double layer hot weld, and the Lighthoof is only a single layer. I don't think that makes much of a difference. The Lighthoof is a much larger panel, as you can see. I think it runs about 6 foot wide, whereas The Viva one I purchased is only 4 foot wide. Again, I believe you can get it in a 6 foot wide, but I like the flexibility of a smaller panel so I can fit it into stranger areas. Now, the biggest question on most people's lips is why you use this stuff. If you go and check out Lighthoof's website, they'll tell you that it was designed by or for the American military to make temporary road bases and blah-de-blah. And that's fantastic, but the reason why they use it is because it keeps the side tension of the gravel that's within it uniform, which means that it's less likely to erode away and move downhill or off the slope, or allow the gravel to move. Now, if you have a natural basin in your horse paddock, like the one that I have just dug for this area, that mitigates the whole reason to use a product like this. So why did I go to the hassle of putting this product down? Well, if you've ever seen the construction of a roadway and you look in the temporary guttering down the side of the road where the gravel's all exposed, you'll notice that there is hay bales staked into the guttering. Now that is for silt control. And what that does is it allows the water to flow through the hay bales, but it stops the silt from migrating down the drain. The same principle applies here. So what we're trying to do is this area here, over time, we'll want to migrate through here, block up the weed matting, and then block up the pipe and block up everything down the line. So what we're doing here is we're putting little dams in each spot to stop or slow the migration of the silt, therefore making this whole area more effective for a longer period of time. Is it going to last a lifetime? No, it might get 5 to 10 years, but if I was to just lay gravel down here and put a pipe in the ground, I can guarantee you it would be draining poorly within 12 to 24 months and would be completely blocked within a couple of years. So it's definitely going to make this area usable for a lot longer. The next question I'll probably get posed is, why do I not put this down and then put weed mat over the top? And yes, I could do that, but I absolutely hate weed mat. I've had to remove it from a lavender field and remove it from other constructions over time, and it is the most annoying product on the planet, and if I could get away without using it at all, I would. So I use it very sparingly. So as you can see here, you get a good coverage of gravel down before you drive over the top of your matrix, and you slowly backfill everything to depth. Once you've top dressed everything, I go over it with a plate compactor, and yes, the horses will try and dig it all up, but with the plate compactor it will hopefully last a little longer. Alright, I'm sure there's also a couple of things I omitted or forgot to talk about. So if you've got any questions, please fire away in the comments. I love to get back to questions. And also just remember, if you're looking for any of these products, please use the description as a reference to finding them. Thank you. Alright, how many times did I hit the barn with the tractor blade? There's 1, 2, it's an older one, 3, there, 4, there, down here further, here we go, yep. Number 5 with a nick up that way, number 6 there. 6 times, not bad. Good thing about it is if you look over here, that's what the horse does to the fence. So I can tell the missus that it was just the pony that did it.